We are continuing on in the series discussing some tools and resources for authors, and this week we're just kind of going along the same theme that we've been doing over the past couple of episodes here, because last time we talked about Fictionary and AutoCrit, and it felt like I needed to go over towards another tool that's very similar, but it's not the same. It's called Authors.AI. Now, before you start to freak out and go, Dale, it's just another artificial intelligence tool, I don't want any part of it, please hear me out on this one. Even the most staunchly against people of AI should probably hear me out on this one. All right, just hang in there, because this one is definitely going to be worthwhile. And no, it's not going to use artificial intelligence to create any books for you or anything else like that. So we're going to be talking about Authors.AI in today's podcast, and we're going to be talking like, is this the editing software for writers? Well, you're going to want to make sure that you stay tuned. I am super excited that yesterday I launched book 3 of my 12-part series, and a large part of my launch strategy is to submit to awards programs and find reviewers. Sadly, if I did all this on my own, I'd take hours and a lot of guesswork on where to go, what to do, and how to approach it. Thankfully, I have my sponsors, Book Award Pro, to manage all of that for me. All I have to do is provide all the details about my latest book, then Book Award Pro gets to work scouring the internet for the best opportunities for my book. Then it sends me notifications about once per week about awards and review opportunities, making it dead simple for me to manage. To date, I've acquired over 32 book awards for 6 publications, all with the help of Book Award Pro. Get access to my preferred book marketing tool in Book Award Pro when you visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Special thanks to the longtime sponsors of this podcast, Book Award Pro. One of the greatest ways to support this podcast is to show some love to these sponsors. A little goes a long way. Again, that's dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. So let's start it out with, what is Authors.AI? Because at a first glance, you're going to probably go, oh, here we go. It's another AI tool. No, Dale, I don't want anything to write. No. Authors.AI has been around for a while. In fact, they were even around before the whole explosion of artificial intelligence. Yes, they do leverage AI in helping you fix some of your work, but it's never actually doing the work for you. So just kind of hang in there. Again, I know there's going to be some people crossing their arms going, I don't want to hear anything about AI. But when you hear this, it's like, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. Now, Authors.AI is a platform that uses artificial intelligence to help authors and writers improve their writing, develop their ideas, and streamline the publishing process. It often provides tools for manuscript analysis, character development, plot structuring, and more, enhancing storytelling and productivity. The goal is to assist authors at various stages of their writing journey, from initial drafts to final revisions. So you see what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily that same old artificial intelligence type stuff of like, oh, it's going to rewrite my sentences or it's going to write an entire book for me. No, not at all. It doesn't do that. It's pretty much in alignment with what, like, say, Fictionary or AutoCrit or Pro Writing Aid or Grammarly, some of those things, but it's a mixture of all of them, to be honest. Like, it's a very interesting tool. I had actually discovered Authors.AI through Alessandra Torri. Now, Alessandra's been a guest here on this podcast and also a guest over on my main channel before, and I believe I did an interview some time ago. I tried to track it down. I couldn't find the link. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you do 1,600 videos. You lose track of all the instances that you've done various things, but we had sat down and talked about Authors.AI way back then, and I'm thinking, gosh, that had to have been 2018, 2019 latest? I believe it was 2018. Don't quote me on this, but it's been a while. So we sat down, we had that conversation, and I really wasn't ready for Authors.AI at the time because I had no fiction work to speak of. Now, thankfully, I've actually have about half a series over on the Kindle Vella, and I actually was able to utilize that with Authors.AI. And I'm going to share some of that process here with you as we kind of go along. So how does Authors.AI work? Well, essentially what it does is you provide your manuscript to them, and it compares your work to others within your genre. Now, they have specifically 8 genres that they identify in: fantasy, general or literary, horror, mystery, romance, science fiction, thriller, and young adult. Now, as far as any type of like subgenres, I don't know where that would fit, probably underneath general or literary, I'm assuming. But for me, at least I was able to grab horror. Now, is it for nonfiction? Not at all. Sorry, nonfiction authors, this isn't for you. I've yet to really test with nonfiction, but since there's really no characters involved, there's nobody to kind of identify on something like this. Maybe it would work with something like creative nonfiction, but for something like this, probably not it. So, any event, it takes your work, you put it on in there, and it compares it across all of these other publications that are within your specific genre. And these are bestsellers. These are books that have done really, really well. I think they had actually said in an FAQ section on their website, it's very comparable to something like Netflix does, or even to a certain extent YouTube does, where it recommends content based on content that you've already consumed. So it's kind of the same way in that it looks at similar content and tries to figure out, okay, how do you fit within this particular genre? Now, does Authors.AI use your work to train AI? Not at all. There's no training of AI. It is completely one-sided. You're literally just leveraging their tool over there. In fact, in their words, they said, Authors.AI affirms that we do not use uploaded manuscripts to train our AI. We take protective steps to ensure that your manuscript and all reports based on it are safe and protected from plagiarism, copyright infringement, or reuse. So breathe your sigh of relief going, okay, yeah, I'm not training AI. I'm technically not really even using AI other than as a tool for feedback. And that's essentially what this is a feedback tool. So, at any rate, the upload process. This is something I dug into today, and it's fairly intuitive. And in fact, I actually just use what they called Marlowe Basic. Now, Marlowe is essentially the name of their AI. They named it Marlowe. I don't recall why, but either way, Marlowe Basic, I was able to upload. Now, you have to provide your name. You got to get your manuscript title. You have to designate your point of view, be it first person or third person. You get what I mean? You also need to identify your main character, your secondary character, and any other primary characters, your genre, of course, the language that you're using, and an upload checklist that includes. Now, this checklist is fairly detailed, so make sure that you're going through it and making sure that your manuscript is ready for them. So, for instance, they want you to check off if you've used track changes, you've accepted all changes and stopped tracking, because they obviously, it probably messes up something, I'm sure, with the macros. They also, if you've deleted all comments and footnotes from the manuscript, because again, it's going to get real messy and it's going to mess up Marlowe. You don't want to have that stuff in there. And because some fonts use strange encoding, they want to make sure that you're utilizing fonts like Times New Roman, Arial, and Helvetica. And they said, if not, please select all, convert, and save. So I had to briefly, because I think I was using Calibri, I just went ahead, Control A, changed out the font to Times New Roman. I was good to go. Took 2 seconds. And they also want to make sure that you've removed all the front matter, which includes the title page, testimonials, dedication, epigraph, but not the prologue, obviously. And they want to make sure that you, of course, removed the back matter. This includes acknowledgments about the book, further readings, etc. And they also want to make sure that you've removed all running headers and footers, including book title, author name, and page numbers. And they said, I have used Save As and created a new docx, or txt file. Sorry, no PDFs. The Save As step is important. Please don't simply save your existing file. Saving your document as a new file will help ensure that it uploads correctly and cleanly. So you want to make sure that that document is 100% nuked when you send it on over to them. Then you essentially wait for 10 minutes to get your detailed report. Now, I'll tell you, when I uploaded mine earlier today, I got it like less than 5 minutes. Like literally, whoa, there's my report. It was inside my email inbox. Now, the beauty of it is they actually send like this full PDF, and it breaks it down step by step, every last little element. And you can also, if you lose that for whatever reason, you can pop back into your Authors.AI account and go into the My Reports section where you can just download that again. Gives a lot of really great details. And I'm going to cover some of those details here in just a bit, because I'm going to compare their free plan of basic to their more advanced plan, so you get a better idea as to, okay, what's going to work out for you. So how does Authors.AI compare to ProWriting Aid or Grammarly, or even tools like Fictionary or AutoCrit? It's, just to be clear, it's not a grammar checking tool. So this is not necessarily something that's going to go over and find a bunch of typos and things like that and highlight those things and expect for you to correct it. It's not going to rephrase anything. Sure, it's going to give you some things that may need correcting. So a lot of just style that you're going to be able to go into and figure out in word usage, any type of adverbs that are thrown in there. Boy, good Lord, I must like the word only. Only is I used it a lot in my series. That and the F word. I I told my wife how many times the F word was mentioned throughout this book. Yes, it's an adult read, and there is a lot of profanity in it. It is a horror story, so and it gets really, really deep. But anyway, there's a lot of F words. I did not realize the level of how many. It seems like I probably have averaged about 2 to 3 per episode that I did for Kindle Vella. But again, it's not a grammar checker tool. So it is much more detailed in a long form report compared to places like Fictionary AutoCrit. I've used Fictionary, and to a certain extent I've kicked around with AutoCrit, and I don't see them having this detailed of a report when it comes back. Like this report, I literally could publish this as a book. It is literally that detailed, and it just goes down to the finite details within their report. So I really, really like that about them. Now for Fictionary and AutoCrit, yeah, they have their reports. It's fantastic, but man, not to this granular of level. It's really neat. So, all right, what are the features and what are the costs? I feel like we can just kill 2 birds with 1 stone by discussing some of these things. Now, Marlowe Basic, 100% free. Don't need to pay a dime for that one. And I think you only get 2 AI reports per month. Maybe, no, excuse me, I'm wrong. That is on the Pro plan because you get unlimited basic AI reports through Marlowe Basic. You can run multiple drafts of your manuscript, and it's great for first-time authors looking to strengthen their craft. So super easy decision. If for some reason you need to get a little bit of like beta feedback on a manuscript, pop it into Marlowe. Again, they're not keeping your work. They're not going to be using it to train AI or anything else like that. It might actually be of use. So it's almost like having your own beta reader. Now, when you go over to Marlowe Pro, though, that costs $29.95 per month, $29.95, or much cheaper at $199 per year, which breaks down to about $16.59 per month. Okay, not too bad. You get 2 full AI reports per month. That's where I wanted to say 2 full reports. I got a little bit ahead of myself, got a little bit excited because I learned a lot of this information today. I just wanted to get it out there for you guys. Now, that's not terrible. Now, hang in there though, because if for some reason you need to go beyond those 2 full AI reports, there is another option. Now, this option is for the serious authors who want to make a living from their writing. Like essentially these reports are just granular, and I'm going to break them down piece by piece. Now, let's just say you're like, no, I don't want a monthly report. All I want to do is just a single full detailed report like what I would get with Marlowe Pro. And that is a single report for $45. I know it's a much more expensive when you're looking at a single report. Now, you will get 1 full AI Pro analysis of your manuscript. It'll be available within minutes. It includes practical tips for applying the findings to your novel. Now, let's go ahead and weigh in basic versus pro. Basic reports have sentence stats and readability score, dialogue versus narrative usage, which, by the way, I did not realize. In my specific story, it was like a 90-10 split. A lot of narrative, 90%, 10% dialogue. They said somewhere, and this is probably just for horror, I don't know if this applies to all the other genres, but they said ideally it wants to be right around 25%, but they said context makes all the difference because maybe the narrative is important in something like this. So they also do potentially offensive language flagged, which I actually got that inside my report. I found out again that I was using a lot of offensive language. They also found cliche finder, repetitive phrases, repeated usage of adverbs, repeated usage of adjectives, verb choice and use of passive voice, possible misspellings. Okay, so there's a little bit of grammar checking. Again, it's not like pro writing it or Grammarly where it's going to go in and correct it for you. You got to do it on your own. They also have punctuation data. Now, pro and single reports have everything in the basic, plus you get subject matter book comps, linguistic style comps, 4 bestseller comps, narrative arc and plot structure analysis, story beats placement, pacing analysis, major characters' personality traits, which I would love to kind of see that. That would be really, really neat, especially since I've got to go back to this series here in 2025 and write out the rest of the season. So it'd be kind of nice to see what those personality traits just kind of, jog my memory. They also have subject analysis, explicit content analysis, and you can also get access to their webinar and special events and promo opportunities on bingebooks.com, which is essentially owned by the same person through Alessandra Torre. And I'm not sure if the others that actually own Authors.AI own Binge Books, but I'm sure there's probably some involvement on that. So that is all of the comparisons. So it is pretty interesting. I know that right now, in my gut, I would love to check out Authors.AI going into 2025 when I fully break in and pivot into fiction. For right now, I'm stuck doing my 12-book series for nonfiction books, so I have to wait excitedly. Now, I just sent an email over to JD and Alessandra over at Authors.AI to let them know about this, and JD teased me with something, said that there's something coming relatively soon. So you heard it here first. Thank you so much for the 411, JD. I appreciate that. Hey, you can get access to that. There is a link in the show notes as per usual. That's dalelinks.com/authors.ai. Yes, that's a referral link. So please go ahead, check it all out, and try out the free plan. It's what I did. And speaking of free plan, you can get free or premium access to my preferred book marketing tool in Book Award Pro when you visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/Book Award Pro. Special thanks to my sponsors, Book Award Pro, for all your support. They are just fantastic. I can't say enough kind words about them. All right, so here are my final thoughts. Is Authors.AI worth it? If you're a fiction author, give Basic a shot. Like, you got nothing to lose. They're not going to be stealing your information. This is run by an author. Like, Alessandra has got a very big name and lots of reach. So she's not just coming in here to reach into your manuscript and distribute it to everybody or train her AI. She is an author that is out for the best interests of authors that are using her platform. And you can always look into the Pro plan as well. Okay, you have so much more detailed reports. Now, if you're nonfiction authors, not so much, unfortunately. It looks like it's just for fiction at this point. And I think I'd asked her some time ago in that interview if nonfiction was on the horizon. It didn't seem like it was going to be. I'd be curious to try to toss in one of my nonfiction manuscripts to see how it goes. Hey, so as we start to wrap things up today, I want to let you know that I will be taking a small little break next week. Yeah, just brief. And then we're going to be back in the saddle again at the very last Monday here in September, where I'm going to be talking about getting book reviews on Amazon. We're going to talk about author review swap sites. Are these things legit, or will these type of sites get you banned? Spoiler alert, no, they shouldn't get you banned, but there are some things you need to be aware of about these author review swap sites. So till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I appreciate you tuning in. And again, go take a look at Authors.AI. I think you'll find it interesting.